Welcome to our deep dive into A Court of Silver Flames.
Ooh, exciting.
It's the fifth book in Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses series. And this time we're shifting the focus to Nesta Archeron.
Fair's older sister.
Right, you've probably heard of this book.
Oh, yeah.
It's insanely popular.
So popular.
But get ready. Yeah, get ready for more than just steamy romance.
Yeah.
We're talking deep exploration of Nesta's trauma, her journey towards healing, and a battle for the fate of Prythian.
Buckle up.
Yeah, that'll keep you on the edge of your seat.
It will.
So the story picks up about 9 months after the war with Hybern.
Okay.
And Nesta's really struggling to adapt to life as High Fae.
Yeah, she is.
So let's jump right into those first few chapters.
Okay.
Can you paint us a picture of Nesta's state of mind at this point?
She's not in a good place.
Right.
She's really struggling.
Yeah. What challenges is she facing?
Well, the war with Hybern left some deep scars on her.
Yeah.
I mean, the loss of her father, the horrors that she experienced being made, and then this abrupt transition to a new immortal life.
It's a lot.
It's a lot for her to process.
Right.
She's drowning her pain in alcohol, isolating herself at the House of Wind, and just generally engaging in reckless behavior.
So it's almost like she's trapped in this cycle of self-destruction.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it.
And then we have Fair, her younger sister, and the High Lady of the Night Court stepping in with an ultimatum.
Yeah, train with Cassian or face banishment back to the human lands.
Not exactly a warm and fuzzy family reunion.
No, not quite.
So this kind of sets the stage for this really volatile dynamic between Nesta and Cassian.
Yes, it does.
And their first meeting is so charged with animosity, and then there's this simmering attraction that neither of them can deny.
Oh, the tension is palpable.
Oh, yeah.
And Nesta is so resistant to any kind of help. She sees Cassian as just another person trying to control her.
Right. And there's so much pride and stubbornness on both sides. And their initial training sessions are...
explosive.
Oh, they are explosive. She even throws a knife at him at one point.
She does.
But as they spend more time together, and they're kind of forced to confront not only their own demons, but these external threats to Prythian, a grudging respect starts to emerge.
Yeah, you start to see the walls come down a little.
Right, and the human queens are still bitter after their defeat in the war.
Yeah, they're stirring up trouble.
Yeah, they're plotting against the Fae, threatening this very fragile peace.
It adds another layer of urgency to Nesta and Cassian's partnership.
Definitely. So Fair basically hands Cassian this impossible task, right?
Right.
Whip Nesta into shape and prepare her for a war she wants no part of.
Right.
But there's a glimmer of hope.
Yes, there is.
Nesta eventually agrees to train with Cassian.
She does.
But on one condition.
Yeah, she strikes a bargain with him.
Right.
An hour of training for a favor of her choosing.
Okay.
And they even mark this agreement with an 8-pointed star tattoo on their backs.
I love that detail.
It's a great detail.
Yeah, it really is.
A symbol of their evolving relationship.
Exactly. And it becomes this turning point.
Yes.
Because the training, it forces Nesta to confront her past and her fears.
It does, both physically and mentally.
Right. And she discovers she's far stronger than she ever imagined.
She is incredibly strong.
And we see her pushing herself to the limit, embracing this grueling training regimen with the Valkyries.
The Valkyries.
It's ancient order of female warriors.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like she's finding this new purpose in their ancient techniques, channeling her anger and pain into something constructive.
Exactly. And the Valkyries play a crucial role in her transformation.
Absolutely. Their training methods are...
brutal.
They are brutal.
But effective.
Yeah. But they focus not just on physical strength, but on mental discipline and resilience.
Right.
And through this training, Nesta begins to unlock her unique power.
Yeah, and this is where things get interesting.
Right. It's a power connected to death itself.
Ooh.
So how does this power manifest?
Well, we learn that during her time with the blacksmith, Nesta unknowingly imbued weapons with this deadly power.
Okay.
Power that she probably absorbed unintentionally from the cauldron.
The source of all magic in Prythian.
Exactly. And this connection to death makes her a formidable force, especially as the threat of war looms.
Definitely. So we have Nesta, this powerful warrior with a connection to death.
Yes.
Training alongside the Valkyries.
It's pretty badass.
It is pretty badass.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the other women in Nesta's life.
Okay.
Because she forms these incredibly strong bonds with Gwyn and Emery.
She does.
Right.
Gwyn, a former priestess, and Emery, an Illyrian woman who runs a shop in Windhaven.
Right.
They become Nesta's confidants and closest allies.
And they create this safe space for her.
They do.
where she can finally confront her trauma,
Yes.
share her vulnerabilities, and experience the healing power of female friendship.
That's so important.
It really is. It seems like these friendships are so essential to her growth. They offer her this different kind of strength, a different kind of support than what she gets from Cassian or the Valkyries.
Exactly. It's a softer side, a more compassionate side
Right?
that she's been hiding for so long.
And these relationships really highlight the importance of female support and solidarity,
Absolutely.
especially for women who have experienced trauma.
Yes, they show Nesta that she's not alone,
Right.
that she doesn't have to carry her burdens in silence, and that there's strength in vulnerability.
But even with these strong friendships, Nesta is still battling her inner demons.
She is.
She makes some reckless decisions. She indulges in self-destructive behaviors and constantly pushes Cassian away.
It's clear she's terrified of letting anyone in.
Right, she's terrified of being hurt again.
Her fear of vulnerability is a recurring theme throughout the book.
Yeah, and she's built these walls around her heart, convinced that love and intimacy will only lead to pain.
Right, but as her connection with Cassian deepens, those walls start to crumble.
Yeah, and their interactions.
Full of tension,
Oh, yeah.
both romantic and hostile, as they
Right.
navigate their feelings and their shared past traumas.
Definitely. And then there's this whole mystery surrounding the Dread Trove.
Oh, yes.
This collection of powerful artifacts that could shift the balance of power in Prythian.
It's a big deal.
Right. So how does this ancient mystery tie into Nesta's journey?
So the Dread Trove consists of the mask, the harp, and the crown,
Okay.
created by the cauldron, and they hold immense power.
Mm-hmm.
And Nesta, because of her connection to the cauldron, is somehow linked to these objects.
Okay.
She's the key to finding them, to unlocking their secrets.
So it's like she's been chosen for this quest, whether she wants it or not.
Yeah, pretty much.
And this quest leads her into some pretty dangerous situations.
Oh, yeah.
The Bog of Orid, for example.
Oh, the Bog of Orid.
Sounds terrifying.
It's a desolate and dangerous place,
Right.
filled with ancient creatures and shrouded in mist.
Like a nightmare.
It's a nightmare, but it's also where Nesta faces her fears head on.
Right.
She confronts a terrifying Kelpie
Mm.
and ultimately wields the power of the mask to survive.
Facing down a mythical beast in a spooky swamp.
That's Nesta for you.
Not for the faint of heart.
Definitely not.
It seems like this quest is pushing her to her limits,
It is.
forcing her to confront her fears and embrace her power.
In ways she never imagined.
And it's only the beginning.
Right.
The search for the Dread Trove is just one piece of a much larger puzzle.
A puzzle that involves ancient prophecies, political intrigue, and a looming war that threatens to consume all of Prythian.
And that is where we'll have to pause for now.
Okay.
But trust me, you won't want to miss the next part of our deep dive.
I'm on the edge of my seat already.
I know the stakes are about to get even higher,
Oh, I bet.
and Nesta's journey is far from over.
I can't wait. Picking up where we left off, Nesta's quest for the Dread Trove takes a bit of an unexpected turn
Oh, yeah.
when she's forced to participate in the Blood Rite,
The Blood
a
Rite.
brutal Illyrian warrior trial.
This is where things get really intense.
Oh, yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that this trial is designed to push warriors to their absolute limits.
Yes.
But it's even more challenging for Nesta.
Absolutely no female has ever successfully completed the Blood Rite.
Wow.
It's a grueling test of strength, endurance, and cunning set in the unforgiving Illyrian mountains.
So what does she have to do?
Well, Nesta, along with Emery and Gwyn,
Okay.
they have to survive for a week, battling not only the elements and starvation,
Oh, wow.
but also each other and other participants.
Oh, so they're competing against each other?
They are.
Okay.
And to make matters worse, someone has broken the rules
Uh-oh.
and introduced weapons into the rite,
Seriously.
turning it into a deadly free-for-all.
So it's like a twisted game of survival,
It really is.
where the stakes are literally life or death.
Very high stakes.
Wow. So how does Nesta handle this?
Well, the Blood Rite really becomes a crucible for Nesta.
Okay.
It pushes her to tap into her instincts, her training, and her unique powers.
Right.
She forms an alliance with Emery and Gwyn.
Okay, good. So they're working together
They are
to survive.
relying on their strength and support to navigate this treacherous landscape and all the brutal challenges they face.
That's amazing how, even in the midst of this brutal competition, their bond deepens.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Right. They're protecting each other, sharing their vulnerabilities, pushing each other to survive,
It's a true testament to the power of female friendship.
especially in the face of such adversity.
Absolutely.
So as Nesta is faced with these challenges, her connection to the cauldron, to the power of death, becomes more pronounced.
It does.
So she's really starting to tap into that power.
She uses it to protect her friends, to outwit her opponents, and to survive against all odds.
So she's becoming quite the force to be reckoned with.
She is a force of nature.
But while Nesta is fighting for survival in the mountains, things are getting complicated back in Valeris.
Uh-oh, what's happening?
Well, Fair, who is pregnant, discovers that her baby's Illyrian wings could prove fatal for both her and the child.
Oh,
This throws everyone into a panic,
I can imagine.
and it really adds another layer of tension to the story.
It does, because the wings, a symbol of power and strength, become a potential death sentence.
Right, it's heartbreaking.
It is.
And to make matters worse, Brialon, the power-hungry human queen,
Oh, bro.
she's manipulating events,
Of course she is.
orchestrating Nesta's involvement in the right to weaken her and make her vulnerable to the crown's influence.
She's playing a dangerous game.
And she's also holding Eris Cassian's brother captive.
Right.
So she's really pulling the strings here.
Brialon is a formidable antagonist,
He is.
driven by a desire for revenge and a lust for power.
So we've got Nesta battling for survival in the Blood Rite,
Right.
Fair facing a life-threatening pregnancy, and Brialon scheming in the shadows.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Oh,
And just when you think things can't get any worse,
it gets worse.
Eris has seemingly betrayed the Night Court,
Oh, wait.
aligning himself with Brialon
Oh, no.
and leading Cassian and Azrael into a trap.
Betrayal. This is a huge turning point in the story.
It is.
And Eris has always been this complex and enigmatic character.
Yes.
But this move, it shocks everyone.
It does. It makes you question everyone's motives.
Right? Who can be trusted in this web of deceit?
Exactly.
So Cassian and Azrael confront Brialon,
Yes.
and they discover they've walked right into a trap.
A trap set by Cochet, the Death Lord imprisoned by the High Lords centuries ago.
I knew he was going to come back into play.
He's been manipulating events from his prison, working with Brialon to obtain the Dread Trove
Wow.
and unleash chaos upon Prythian.
So the stakes just got even higher.
They did.
Okay, so Nesta is fighting for her life in the Blood Rite.
Right.
Fair's facing a life or death situation, and Cassian is trapped by a power-hungry queen and an ancient Death Lord.
Things aren't looking good.
How does it all come together?
Well, Nesta, Emery, and Gwen, they managed to survive the Blood Rite,
They do.
defying all odds and proving their strength and resilience.
Good for them.
But their victory is short-lived.
Oh, no.
Just as they return to Valeris, they're confronted by Brialon, who is wielding the power of the crown and a mind-controlled Cassian.
Not Cassian.
I know it's heartbreaking to see Nesta forced to fight her own mate.
Right, because she knows he's a puppet in Brialon's hands.
Exactly.
That's devastating.
It's a brutal confrontation.
Right.
And it showcases the cruel power of the crown.
So what does Brialon want?
She demands that Nesta hand over the remaining Dread Trove objects,
Okay.
threatening to have Cassian kill her if she refuses.
Oh, my God.
So Nesta, exhausted and wounded, but fueled by her love for Cassian and her determination to protect her family,
Right.
refuses to back down.
Good for her.
She fights back with everything she has,
Right.
but Brialon is relentless, pushing Cassian to attack, forcing him to strike blow after blow against the woman he loves.
This is so painful.
It is truly agonizing.
So Nesta is faced with this impossible choice.
She is.
Surrender to Brialon and risk the fate of Prythian, or fight back and potentially kill the man she loves.
What will she do?
What happens next? Does she make a choice?
She does. And it's a choice that will change everything.
So we left off with Nesta facing this impossible choice, right?
Hmm.
Surrender the Dread Trove to Brialon or potentially kill Cassian to stop her.
It's a true lose-lose situation.
What happens?
Well, just as Brialon is about to deliver the final blow,
Oh.
Cassian, in this incredible moment of sheer will, turns the dagger on himself rather than hurt Nesta.
Oh, wow.
It's a true act of love.
Talk about a sacrifice.
And his sacrifice is a pivotal moment.
Okay.
It triggers something within Nesta, unleashing the full force of her power.
So what happens? Does she, like, explode?
No explosions.
Okay.
It's more like she becomes a conduit for the cauldron's raw energy.
Wow.
She erupts with power, completely obliterating Brialon, instantly reducing her to ash.
So Brialon's gone.
Brialon is gone.
Wow, what about Cassian?
Well, he's severely wounded.
Right.
But thanks to Nesta's quick thinking and Fair's healing powers, he survives.
Okay.
But the ordeal is far from over.
Oh,
They return to the House of Wind to find Fair in labor.
oh, jeez.
And things are going terribly wrong.
What's happening?
The baby is lodged and Fair is bleeding to death.
Oh my gosh, so they just defeated this power-hungry queen, and now they're facing another life or death situation.
It's one thing after another.
This is so intense.
It's a race against time to save both Fair and her unborn child.
Right.
And they're about to perform a surgery that would save the baby but kill Fair.
Oh no.
But Nesta, seeing her family on the brink of destruction,
Right.
makes this incredibly drastic decision.
What did she do?
Remember the dread Trove?
Yeah.
She puts on the crown and the mask and picks up the harp.
Whoa, she's wielding all three objects at once?
She is.
That's so dangerous.
It's incredibly risky.
What happens?
The power of the Trove surges through her and time literally freezes.
Whoa, time freezes.
Nesta finds herself in this timeless space, surrounded by death, bargaining with the cauldron itself.
Bargaining with the cauldron. That sounds terrifying.
It is both terrifying and amazing.
Right.
She offers everything she has, her power, her life, even to save Fair and the baby.
Does the cauldron accept her offer?
It does, but not without a price.
Okay.
Time resumes. Fair is alive and the baby is healthy.
That's good.
But Nesta loses most of her power.
Oh.
The darkness that once marked her is gone, replaced by faint silver lines.
What do those lines mean?
They're a symbol of the bargain she made.
So she saves her family, but at a huge personal cost.
It's a bittersweet victory, for sure.
But even with her power diminished, Nesta finds strength in her love for Cassian and her bonds with Emery and Gwen.
She does their mating ceremony is a beautiful testament to their love,
Oh, good.
and a promise of a future filled with healing and growth.
But what about the bigger picture? What about Cochet, the Death Lord?
He's still out there.
Is he still a threat?
Cochet is still in prison, but his influence is spreading.
Oh, no.
The forces of darkness are gathering, and the balance of power in Prythian is shifting.
This doesn't sound good.
The book ends with this real sense of unease, a feeling that the war for Prythian is far from over.
So, A Court of Silver Flames. It's more than just a romance.
It is.
It's about confronting trauma, finding strength in unexpected places, and the enduring power of love and sacrifice.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So what do you think will happen to Nesta now that her power is diminished?
Who knows?
Right, and will Fair and Rysand find peace with their new family?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
And how will Prythian face this looming threat of Cochet?
So many questions.
Right?
Guess we'll find out in the next book.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into A Court of Silver Flames.
It's been my pleasure.